Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about how to use your sacral authority, listen to your body, and avoid burnout. So if you have a sacral authority in the human design and you want to know what that means to you on your day-to-day and how to keep yourself from burning out, this one's for you. By the end of this video, you will know 1, what is the sacral authority, 2, how to know if you have a sacral authority, 3, what kind of questions to ask yourself if this is the kind of authority that you have to navigate this life. Number 4, how to use this authority in your day-to-day to make sound, confident decisions on repeat. And number 5, how to reconnect with your sacral if you're not confident in how to listen to your body in the first place to get these answers. People pleasing and pro and con lists are a first class ticket to burnout if you have a sacral authority. So if you want to make sure that you avoid that, stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can get more tips on how to navigate this life no matter what your design is. So what is the sacral authority? Well, if you have your sacral defined, which means that you have the little orange square in this image defined, meaning colored in, then you are either a generator or a manifesting generator. And what that means is that you are meant to respond to the world around you. You are meant to look for opportunities and synchronicities and decide which of those opportunities you want to jump into. Your sacral authority is the part of you that answers that question. This is never a decision that is made with your mind. Really, no decision should be made with your mind because there's too much influence from outside, from other people, from conditioning, from people pleasing, all of those kinds of things that can create a logic that will give you an answer. And it may not be the answer that is right for you. So if you have a sacral authority, you are listening to your body for a response. If you ignore that response and you say yes to things that you really didn't want to do, you're going to feel frustrated and annoyed. If you ignore a yes and you don't do it because your brain starts talking to you and you start to get afraid, then you're going to be bummed that you missed out on it. Fear is not the same as a no, and you will miss out on a lot of magic if you let your mind talk you out of some of the things that you're meant to do. How do you know if you have a sacral authority? Well, I said before, if you have a sacral authority, you have your sacral defined. So in this image, if you have the sacral defined, but you do not have the yellow triangle to the right of the sacral defined, then that means you have a sacral authority. If you do have the yellow triangle defined, that means that you have an emotional authority. And I did another video on that, and I'll link that below in the description so that you can go and check that out. If you're not sure what your aura type is, generator, projector, that kind of thing. If you don't know what that is and you don't know what your authority is, you can run your chart for free on my website. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. Then you can come back and you can comment and tell us what is your aura type and what is your authority so that we know. So what type of questions should you be asking yourself if you have a sacral authority? This is one of the first things that really set my life on a different path, because I was really frustrated and asking myself all kinds of open-ended questions. I am a 3/6 profile, and I'm sure at some point I'll be doing a video about that. But if you don't know what that means, it means that I am all about the trial and error. I am all about doing all the things. I love being a part of new things. So what does that mean? It means that if I say, what do I want to do with my life? Or like, what do I want to do when I grow up? The answers to that are endless. There is never going to be just one answer to that question. So when I learned that I am meant to ask myself yes and no questions, it was a huge game changer. As a sacral authority, the kind of questions you want to ask yourself are always yes and no. And your instinct, your intuition, your first response in your body, not your mind, is the answer to that question. And then the key is to make sure that you actually follow through in that direction. So if you have a yes in your body and you move forward with it, you're going to feel great and you're going to have all the energy that you need to complete that task. But if you have a no, if your body's like, no, I don't want to do that, and you commit to it anyways because you feel bad or because you think you're supposed to, or you've told yourself a story of some type that has made you commit to something that you don't want to do, you're going to be really frustrated. You're going to run out of energy and you're going to burn out. On the flip side, if your body is like, yes, and you say no because you're scared, you're going to be really unhappy that you didn't follow through on that thing. I know everyone says that generators and manifesting generators are energizer bunnies, but that only holds true if you are actually doing tasks and jobs and careers and anything that you are really lit up by, that your body is like, yes. If you do that, then you're going to be just fine. But if you are committing to things that you did not want to do, you will burn out. So what are you looking for when you're listening for that sacral response? A lot of people, a lot of us have been sort of trained away from listening to our intuition. And part of that is because when you're a kid, your parents just tell you what you're supposed to do and you just have to go do it. And you don't really have that kind of sovereignty, that choice of whether or not to do it. But you also have like coaches and teachers and that kind of thing. And so you stop listening to that and you start people pleasing instead. So one of the keys is really learning to tune back into your body and figure out how to hear that sacral response. So what is that sacral response? According to Ra Aruhu, who is the one that channeled human design in the first place, it is a guttural, actual audible sound. Uh-huh or uh-uh. Most of us have been told not to make those sounds because they're rude or whatever. So in order to kind of find your way back to listening to that response, there are some other ways that we can kind of connect back to that physical response. If you don't hear an actual uh-huh or uh-uh, and you're trying to figure out what your body's trying to tell you and you don't want to go back up and start thinking in your mind and making pro and con lists, I have a couple of ways that can help you reconnect to that physical response. The first one is, do you feel expansion when you ask yourself this question, or do you feel contraction? So an expansion is a yes. Yes, I totally want to do this. Let's go. And then the contraction is your body being like, I don't want to do this. Your physical response to open up is a yes. Your physical response as a contraction is a no. I know that if I'm really not into something, if I don't want to do it, sometimes I literally, like, my body just won't do it. Another way that you can test this is to either sit cross-legged or stand with like your feet about, shoulder width apart, and close your eyes and ask yourself the question and see which way you lean. So do you lean forward? Are you leaning into it? That would be a yes. Are you leaning backwards? That would be a no. Okay, so like these are just different ways for you to kind of reconnect with that response. The third one, which is the one that I use a lot if I really try like getting into my head and I can't quite make a decision, is to make 2 loops with your thumb and index fingers and then hook them together, and it's a muscle test. So if you gently pull it apart and they slip apart, then that would be a no. And if they hang together, then that's a yes. The 2 most important pieces of your human design are your strategy and your authority. Your strategy is related to your aura type, and that is, how do you attract the opportunities in your life? And then your authority is, how do you decide which of those opportunities are the right ones for you? What happens in human design a lot is that people get really excited about it, and then they put those 2 things that they learn very first aside, and then they go and they dig into the rabbit hole of all the different things that you can learn about yourself in human design. But if you don't have those 2 key pieces, it can really throw you off. It can mean that you're not really listening to everything that is coming after that when you're going into your human design journey. So I have started creating ebooks that have like the different combinations of the aura type or strategy and authority, so that you can use them in your day-to-day and actually implement this stuff. I want you to be able to navigate this world in a way that just feels easier and has more flow. And these two things are paramount to that. I've started with manifesting generators. So I have manifesting generator with an emotional authority ebook, and then I have one that is for this sacral authority for manifesting generator. Those are both linked in the description below. Let me know what your type and authority are, and we'll see which ones we're going to put together next. You can vote in the comments. Can you imagine what would change in your life if you were confident that every single one of your decisions was a decision that you could trust? That is what I want for you. Thank you so much for stopping by. You know I love humanity. You know I love that we're all weird and we all do things just a little bit differently. Make sure you like and subscribe and come back so that you can get more tips on how you tick and how to navigate this crazy life and unleash magic. Sending love to you all.